All right, guys. So we just finished X-Men 97 episode 5. Remember it. All right, guys. So I hope you guys have been enjoying the videos so far. Please hit the like, subscribe button because I will be doing all the reviews for these episodes for the weeks to come. But first, I just want to talk about how much I enjoyed this episode. This was definitely a WTF episode. It was just full of those moments. We actually pick up on where the X-Men end up going to Genosha. Turns out the UN finally allows, they decide to give it a chance to be its own nation. And when you get there, you get to see all the mutants, and we get to see everyone from the Morlocks, members from the X-Force, some members of the X-Men, past members who maybe have moved on, even some from the Brotherhood that are out there living good and plentiful lives. They're out there living lives where they have to pay for food and they have places they live. And it's a pretty cool monument set up, which has Magneto and Xavier, standing side by side, just creating a home where mutants can thrive at. And it was such a pretty cool thing to finally see them get that, that peace that they've been longing for, where they're able to live their lives the way they've always wanted to, in the manner in which they've always wanted to. So, the X-Men end up going out to, Genosha. And at the same time, while this is happening, we also have some things going on back at the X-Mansion, where we have the news crews that are actually talking to members of the X-Men. That includes Beast and, Cyclops and Jubilee, talking to them about, the things that make them become X-Men, why they believe they have to fight as X-Men, what are the good things about being a mutant that the world doesn't understand. And I thought it was pretty cool how we got to see the world got to see inside this world. People got to see exactly who mutants are, not these monsters that, some, governments would force people to believe, in the media or online. They actually have plentiful lives that they're trying to live. Some have children, some just want to create a good world for their children. And I thought that was pretty cool that we got to see that put in this episode. We also got a pretty decent episode where, we got a chance to see where I believe Jean was dealing with the memories that she feels like are hers and not hers, and she can't seem to decide where she's supposed to be or who she's supposed to be or what's missing. And there's kind of like another loving romantic scene from Wolverine, and she ends up losing herself and kissing him a little bit. And and Wolverine, he steps back in a little bit and he's like, look, here's Jean Grey, he's Scott Summers, figure it out. And I like how, even though she got caught up in emotion, he knows that that's not possible. He recognizes that, she still loves him. And it kind of gets a little interesting because as that's happening, Scott is kind of caught up in this, mental, kind of a relationship or mental conversation with Madeline Pryor, and they end up kissing. And, I thought at first it was Jean, and turns out it wasn't. It was actually Madeline. He'd been having like little side conversations with her for a while. And I was like, oh man, that is awkward. But it was a pretty good scene where, they talked, and, Jean and Scott asked her, do you love me or do you love the idea of me? And it was a pretty good scene where you get to see that they're not this perfect couple that everyone believes they are. And it was a pretty cool, deep thing that I think sometimes we look on the outside, we think people are beautiful couples, but deep down inside, there might be some issues there. So, back to Genosha, we actually get a cool scene. Like I said, we get to see all the mutants living their lives plentifully. And, they asked Magneto to take over Genosha. And as you know, that's what, Magneto always wanted. We have groups from, we have Callisto from the Morlocks. We have, we even have the Hellfire Club. We have Moira McTaggart, all these people, even Madeline Pryor, who is now, a consultant there. We have all these groups who believe that, Magneto would be the best suited to guide this community. And he ends up deciding to take it only under the condition that Rogue stays with him. And it was actually kind of an interesting thing for her, where Rogue did not want to take it, and she felt like she was a little slided into it. But, Magneto made some good points where he felt that she was strong enough to be that lead that, the mutants might need. And it was a really sad thing where Rogue actually goes to Gambit and explains to him that she can touch him. And it was a really sadder scene when, Gambit even said to her, love is not just skin touch. It was such a thing where he was like that he really just loves her. It's not about the ability to touch her, but her ability not to be able to touch him is heartbreaking for her. And it's kind of a nice scene where, she shows up and tries to be his queen and tries to be Magneto's queen in a way, but she decides against it. She decides that it's not something that she really wants. And it's a really impactful scene where she realizes that it's not where she wants to be at. She really rather try harder with Gambit, which was really a touching scene. We also get Cable, who shows up. Cable shows up after Madeline gets hit with some kind of psychic attack. And when Cable arrives, he tries to talk to her for a few seconds when he's pulled back into his time. He's telling everyone to turn off their music, everyone run, get out of here, it's not safe. And then before he could actually explain what's happening, he gets pulled back into his time. And right then, man, that's when everything went crazy. It was full WTF. There was sentinels falling out of the sky, some type of weird moth-like sentinel. It was, blowing things up left and right, attacking the island of Genosha, killing off mutants left and right. We had what seems like multiple deaths of multiple mutants. It seems like Banshee has died. We see Callisto has actually died. We think Kurt has died, but he's just actually injured. And it seems like it's even possible that Leech and Magneto and several of the Morlocks have just died. And it's a sad scene to see, and it was a pretty deep scene where you see that, Magneto was holding back Gambit and Rogue, trying to protect them, trying to keep them safe as this blast is just descending down on them. And Magneto's given everything he's got to try to hold the line and protect them. And, before he can, they end up dying, or at least what it appears to be dying. And, it's a sad scene where both Rogue and Gambit try to put up a fight. And before Rogue is killed, Gambit pulls a pretty awesome scene where he gets her out of the way. And he takes the fight full on to the Sentinel, which was amazing. He's dodging left and right. He's moving left and right. And you think that he's about to take it out. And the sad thing is he gets impaled. He gets hurt. And I'm telling you, I was on the edge of my seat watching this episode. And he ends up taking his power. And, in true Gambit fashion, lets him know the name is Gambit. Remember it. And he takes his power and fuses it into the place where he was impaled at and destroys the Sentinel. And it was it was such a heartbreaking scene. And a scene where, Rogue is holding, Gambit's dead body. And she's just like, I can't feel you. I can't. And the episode just stops like that. And even at the end of the episode, the music was just drowned out and dreary and sad. Like I said, shout out to the writers of this show. And even the gentleman, Bo, who produced it. I can't believe they let this dude go. I don't know what he did. But this guy was amazing. They essentially brought this episode. It didn't even feel like it was a kid's episode. It felt like it was meant for the people who were kids who grow up and got the chance to enjoy the episode. It was such a deep and amazing episode about love and, losing love and accepting what love is and what love isn't, exactly what home means. Kurt Wagner, who was Nightcrawler, we got some pretty great scenes from him, where he talks about that love is a healing thing for everyone. And it was just a beautiful episode. And if you guys haven't seen it, I definitely implore you guys to watch it, because a lot of people will think that X-Men 97 is out here for kids. And I guarantee you, so far of what I've seen, it has been much deeper than that. And I'm excited to see where else they go from here. Who has died, who is still alive, and how will they pick up the pieces after they're gone. And, we got to see exactly a lot of the mutants that were taken down from different factions. And now how will that affect them going in? Who created this Sentinel? Where did this Sentinel come from that it started just attacking them like that? How did Cable know about it? Well, we know Cable's from the future, but how did he know, exactly who created it, that he was able to show up at the right time to try to save them? So it's something that I'm really looking forward to seeing more of. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Please drop in the comments. Let me know what you thought, if there's anything I missed. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Later.